Assalamu alaikum class. Today is Wednesday, 3rd of January 2024. And now this is your English class. I am the English teacher. We have to read unit number 18, name bees. First of all, we will do vocabulary words as we always do in our lessons. And we have 8 words. Number 1 is drones. The second word is hollow. Third word is gorge. Fourth word is tinge. Fifth word is straw. Seventh word is contain. And sixth word is contain. Seventh word is rarely. And the last and eighth word is fertilization. Open your dictionaries and find the meanings of these words and raise your hand when you have found. And I will call you to come and write on the board. Yes, quickly. Number 1 word is drones. Here you have to find the meaning related to your chapter, name bees. Yes, very good. Its meaning is male bees that do not walk but fertilize the queen. As we read yesterday during our reading that there are 3 kinds of bees in the hive. Number 1 is queen, and number 2 are worker bees, and the third one are male bees, drones, that do not walk in the hive. That's why the worker bees make them out of the hive to die after some time, after their work of fertilization have done. Okay, very good. Now find the meaning of hollow. Yes, very good. Its meaning is empty. Hollow means empty. And also if you want to write vacant is also its meaning. Okay. Now find the meaning of gorge. Yes, very good. Its meaning is eat a large amount greedily. Means eat greedily something. Anything you eat greedily and quickly, a large amount, it is called gorge. And we have read yesterday that honeybees gorge themselves with honey. Okay, now find the meaning of stinge. Yes, very good. Its meaning is a sharp, pointed, part of insect to inflict poison. Okay? And they're obvious at the head of the insects. Usually, a sharp pointed part of insect to inflict poison. Yes. We have done 4 words. And now find the meaning of 5th word, straw. Yes, very good. Straw means dried stalks of grain. They are long and dried. After the grain they remain and they flow with the flow of wind because they are very light in weight. Yes, The next word, what is the next word? Contain. Very good. Now find its meaning. Very good. Its meaning is have or hold something inside. Their meanings will be more clear when we will make sentences of these words. Have or hold something inside. Now find the meaning of rarely, the word rarely. Yes, very good. Rarely means not happening of something very often. Not happening very often. That sometimes something happens and sometimes it doesn't happen. It means rarely, scarcely. You can also write its meaning scarcely. Something that is not done, that is not happening on daily basis. It means rarely. Yes. Yes, we have our last word, fertilization. Find the meaning and come on the board to write its meaning. Fertilization is a process, is a whole process. Yes, its meaning is introduce sperm or pollen. Sperm for species and pollen for plants. When we talk about the process of fertilization related to the species animals, we use the word sperm. Introduce a sperm in something else. And when we use fertilization, when we have to talk about the fertilization of plants, then what we introduce, we use pollen for further fertilization to have more individuals, to develop more, to produce more individuals, more fruit, more plants. Okay. Introduce a sperm or pollen into an egg or plant so that new individual develops. Okay, we have done words meanings. Now read it aloud once for revision. If there is any confusion regarding pronunciation of the words and the meanings of the words, please ask me and I am here to clear it for you. Yes, dear students, please read it aloud. What is the meaning of drones? Drone means male bees that do not work but fertilize a queen. Their only duty is to fertilize a queen in a specific time, and after that time we have read that the worker bees make them out from the hive. Okay, what is the meaning of hollow? The meaning of hollow is vacant, empty, something that is not, we have that there is no life, there is no person to live, and there is no other life. Okay, what is the meaning of gorge? Gorge means eat a large amount greedily. Eat a large amount of anything greedily, it means gorge. And sting means a sharp pointed part of insects to inflict poison. Many times they are at the head of the insects, two pointed antennas that we usually said that the antennas of this insect are called sting. Okay. What is the meaning of straw? Straw means dried stalks of grain. And the meaning of contain inside. Yes, very good. Rarely means not happening very often. Means something that happens scarcely. And what is the meaning of fertilization? Yes, fertilization is a process in which any insect or any other thing introduce a sperm or pollen into an egg or plant so that new individual develops. Is it clear to you? Yes, okay, very good. Okay class, now we are going to read and rephrase the chapter number 18, named bees. Yesterday we have read that how many kinds of species in British Isles. There are more than 200 types. Only two are favorite ones, that are hive bees and also honeybees. But there are, out of 200, there are only two kinds of species that are social. It means social means here that they live in colony for the same purpose, for the same work. And yes, we were talking about that. There were more than 200 kinds of species, and out of them only two kinds that are social, that lives in colony, that make honey, that store money. But bumblebees and honeybees, that are social, but bumblebees do not store honey. Okay, then we talked about that there were three kinds of bees in hive, that were worker bee, queen bee and drone bees. Worker bees were the real machinery of the hive. Then we have queen bee that lay eggs for the hive, and then drone bees that only used to fertilize the queen, and then the worker bees make them out of the hive. Okay. You know, where there is comma, you have to take a small pause, like here, which is water is carried. Okay, and where there is full stop, you have to take long pause. And for the reading, you must have to open your books, open page number 177, and you must have your dictionary. And you must have your pen or lead pencil with you for writing, dictionary for finding the meanings of difficult words, and pen for writing that meanings. Okay. Now we are starting the remaining reading of the chapter. Then we are starting from here. They require the water at breeding time to thin down the honey to make food for grubs, and a strong stock will collect as much as 1 pint a day. We have read the word propolis yesterday, and now we are going to read that what is propolis. Propolis, a gummy substance they collect from trees, means honeybees collect from trees, is used as a cement to stop up crevices and to make things secure. In the previous paragraph, we have read the duties of the worker bees, that they attend to the grubs, guard the hive, and how they guard the hive. Now we are reading here that they use gummy substance to cement their hives to make things secure. Okay, now the next paragraph. But bees do not collect honey. They do not collect the actual honey. They make honey. And what is the process? Now we are going to study. They gather a sweet liquid called nectar. They gather a sweet liquid called nectar, out of which they will make honey. How? We will read. Which is secreted by the flowers to attract visitors. The nectar, much of which is water. Which type of nectar is the substance that is here? The nectar, much of which is water, that is in which the quantity of water is much more than other substances, is carried home in the honey sac inside the bee's body, and on the journey home, and after being placed in the cells, much of the water is driven off. This is part of process of changing nectar into honey. In this way they change nectar to honey, and is known as ripening. And this process is also called ripening, when they brought nectar to their homes, and most of the part of the water is driven off. This is part of process changing nectar into honey, and it is known as ripening. Yes, the honey sac of a bee holds about 1/5 of a drop of a nectar, and it is estimated that if one bee could collect 1 pound of honey, which it cannot, it would have to fly a distance equal to twice round the globe. The pollen is gathered. Now we have read here pollen. Now what is pollen and what is the use of pollen and what is the process regarding it, that we are going to study now in this paragraph. The pollen is gathered for use as food by the bees. Pollen is used as food for them, as a meal for them. It is part of a process called pollination. Pollen is related to the part of the process of pollination. And what is pollination? We are going to study. It becomes entangled, pollens becomes entangled in the body hairs of the bees and is transferred from flower to flower, and this is the process of pollination. Pollen is also used for their food, and pollen is the substance of pollen stuck in their hairy body, and then when they flew from one flower to another, pollen is also transferred with their body and go to other flower from flower, resulting in the production of fruits and seeds. In this way the process of fertilization and pollination will carry out. Pollination is the real work of the honey bee, and in that way she helps in the production of food such as fruit and field crops. Yes, it is obvious that in forests, in other gardens, it is very difficult for a human being to develop new plants, new eggs, new fruits. So because of these small insects, we can see that how this small creature is helpful, is beneficial for the all humankind. Okay, come to next page. All the pollen is not required for pollination, and as she flies from flower to flower, she comes it from herself and packs it into the pollen baskets she has on her back legs. Then on reaching the hive, it is placed in the cells and the bees pack it down hard by hitting it with their heads. Okay, because pollens are their food also, they pack themselves, they store the food for them. The eggs from which the grubs hatch are tiny, but they have a yolk and a shell. On the third day, the egg hatches into a grub. This is fed by the workers, and on the 9th day, the cell is sealed over with a capping of wax and pollen. Then wonderful changes take place inside the cell. The larva turns into the perfect insect and finally bites its way through the capping. Okay. 2 sorts of egg are laid by the queen. Yes. What was the purpose of queen? Queen was there for producing eggs. Now, how many types of eggs they laid? She laid 2 sorts of eggs are laid by the queen. One is not fertilized and it produced the drone. Okay, one type is related to drone. That one type is from one type she lays egg which bore drone. The other is fertilized and turns into either a worker or a queen. And from the second egg, which we have worker or a queen, according to the type of cell in which it is laid. Then they laid in different types of cells also. According to the type of cell in which it is laid and to the food which is fed to the grub which hatches from it. If it is to produce a queen, it is laid in a queen cell. Okay, the egg in which they want to have a queen, they laid that egg in a queen cell which hangs beside down on the comb and looks like a peanut. That egg looks like a peanut, while the grub which hatches from it is fed on a very rich food called royal jelly. Most of the cells forming a comb are worker cells, small and 6-sided, and are used either for brood rearing or for the storage of honey. When a grub is hatched in those cells, it is fed on a less rich food and turns into a worker, a very different insect from a queen. A worker is a very different insect from a queen because they both have their separate duties, their separate work burden. So their features, their bodies, their system, their process are all are different. Okay, the main part of a hive is the brood chamber. What is the main part of the hive? Brood chamber containing large combs. It is the bee's permanent home and is used for brood rearing and the storage of honey. And for which 2 purposes they use brood chamber? They use brood chamber for brood rearing and the storage of honey. In the honey season, chambers containing smaller combs and called Storage of honey. In the honey season, chambers containing some smaller combs and called supers are placed above the brood chamber, and there the bees store honey which is to be extracted to prevent the queen laying eggs. Yes, now they are talking about that how they prevent the queen from laying eggs. Okay, to prevent the queen laying eggs, in the supers a slotted metal sheet, a queen excluder. Yes, the slotted metal sheet name is a queen excluder, is placed over the brood chamber. It allows the worker but not the larger queen to pass through, because the queen bee is larger somehow from the worker bees, so they put the slotted metal sheet to prevent the queen to lay eggs. Okay class, now time is over, and you will have to make 5 sentences of the vocabulary words as your homework, and we will continue from here. Stay safe and sound. Allah Hafiz.